I'd like to take this opportunity now. I'm going to call it odds and ends time, and that there's some items that wouldn't really, well, they could have fit in some other things I displayed, but this is the perfect time to pull it out. So the first thing we're going to tip on is your steel helmet. When the United States entered the war in December 1941, we were still using a helmet that was from World War One. It was basically, it looked like a bowl, round, but we determined real quick wasn't really functional. So we came up with this design. Obviously, it's made of steel. Had two parts to it. There's a piece that was called a liner, and it was made of a fiber material that was laminated and pressed. Now, the helmet had within inside of it what's called a liner, and it was made of cotton, and it had a sweatband that was made of leather that was attached to that. This is called a suspension system. What's unique about an American helmet is that it had no size. So when you have someone like me who has a 7.5-inch head, that's a good thing, because it had a series of bands on the side where you could adjust it to the diameter, and there was a string here in the middle where you could adjust it to the height. Now, these helmets were not designed to protect you from bullets. They were designed to protect you from shrapnel, so anything that came up in the air and came down. However, the American soldier is a very ingenious kind of guy. They found out real quick that this helmet had many purposes besides personal protection. For example, later I'll be going over real quick the food that was issued to your soldiers. And it was intended to be eaten cold. However, you could heat it. And the instructions said to put it in a pot of boiling water. Well, guess what you have right here? Your pot. It's your helmet. You would have started a little fire, got some water going, you would have dropped your cans of food in there, and you would have got it going. This was also a sink. How was it sink? Well, the time that comes in the morning, guess what you got to do? You got to shave. So you put a little bit of water in here, you put your cake of shaving soap, got yourself ready, and you shaved. Now it comes time to brush your teeth. Well, guess what? You have right here, okay? So now you have an opportunity to clean up, and you have a washcloth and towel. But guess what you don't have? You don't have a shower, and you don't have a tub. So what did you use to wash yourself with? You used your helmet. You put your water in it, you got your soap, you cleaned it. It was not uncommon that in an emergency, if you couldn't get to your shovel, the guys would dig with this. One other purpose is that in combat, you have to answer the call of nature at times. So all I'm going to say is, this was also used as a loo. And if you're not too sure what that is, well, LOO, you can look it up. It's basically a chamber pot. You can look that up too. So there's your homework assignment. Look up loo and chamber pot, and you'll find out the other use for this helmet. Attached to the liner was a leather strap, and on the sides of the helmet you had two pieces of canvas with a clasp. So to put it on, obviously place on head, pull on your chin, and then attach the little clasp. Now, if you look at your photographs of many soldiers for World War II, you'll notice that they don't have this piece attached in most cases. You'll notice it's hanging loose. They determined real quick that for artillery, when it comes down the shell, there is, think of it as it's called a concussion. There's a shock wave from the explosion, and they found out that if you were really close to an artillery shell, that the concussion, the shock wave, would lift your helmet up, potentially causing some damage, broken jaw maybe if it were really, really close or something like that. So you'll see a lot of pictures with the guys, they've had the chin strap attached. The other thing that came with the helmet was a helmet net. It was made of cotton, real simple. You put it on your helmet, had a piece you tucked into it, you insert your liner. And the purpose of it was attaching foliage, camouflage. So what you could do is take leaves, sticks, whatever you wanted to camouflage yourself. It was also not uncommon, like this particular helmet, I added pieces of burlap to it, and that was done also. So, next item we're going to come up to is your gas mask. So obviously, based on the lessons from World War I, U.S. Army prepared, if there ever was a next war, they didn't think there would be one. They wanted to be prepared and have a gas mask. So this is the typical gas mask that was used. This particular item is unissued. It's never been used. It even has the cardboard piece here to keep it formed. So it was made of rubber, plastic lenses, and you would breathe through here, and contained within this bag, don't want to take it out, don't want to break the snap, was a canister. Generally it was filled with charcoal. And that's how it filtered the air that you breathe in the event of gas. In Western Europe, it was an issue item, but generally most guys, once they got to Europe or Italy, what they did is they realized real quick, the probability is you're not going to have a gas attack. So what they did is they took the canister out of the bag and the mask, threw it away, and they kept the bag. The reason they did that is that the bag was pretty handy in that had a clasp here, had a piece that you could put around your waist, and you could throw it over your shoulder. Had two snaps here. So obviously you could use it for anything you wanted. You could put ammunition into it, you could put hand grenades into it, you could put explosives into it, you could put food, an extra pair of dry socks, clothing. You think of it, the bag would hold it. There was a second variation that's over here, and it was rubberized. So same purpose, had a place for the canister in it, but it was rubberized. And if you look at photographs on Omaha and Utah Beach, D-Day, 6 June 1944, you'll see guys who have these rubberized bags. So obviously this was a desirable item compared to the cloth one because, once again, it was rubberized. Anything you put in there and you snapped it, odds are pretty good that it was going to stay waterproof. There's two other items here that were not U.S. Army equipment that were also used on D-Day. The item right up here is from the U.S. Navy. It's called a life belt. And the purpose of this was that you would take it, wrap it around your waist, secure it, and there were two cartridges here that were filled with carbon dioxide. And then what you did is if you had to go in the water, right here was a flap, you pulled it, it inflated. It was really intended to take up around your arms like this. It wasn't made to go around the waist. You put it up under here. So the whole idea is it could keep you afloat. If you look once again at the pictures on D-Day, Omaha, Utah Beach, you'll see many soldiers wearing these around their waist. Obviously, once they got in the beach and as they perceived that you go inland, they just discarded them. This particular one was not on D-Day. It was made in 1945. There's also two hoses here so that if you had to, you could inflate it by your mouth. The next item here is a life vest. So obviously this is issued to people in airplanes. That would have been the United States Army Air Corps, as well as naval aviators, the United States Marine Corps, the United States Navy. So these were used by, if you look at the photographs, if you take the time, you'll see it. Paratroopers for the 82nd 101st Airborne Division are wearing these as they get ready to jump out of the plane. So obviously, gotta take my glasses off. There we go. You put it here, you got a strap. Just like when you go on an airplane, right? And they tell you that the life preserver's underneath the seat, no difference. You put it on, you strap it. There's two little pulls down here. You can see it right here. There's a CO2 cartridge. And then what you did when you put it on, you pulled this, inflated the life vest, and you bobbed around until you were picked up. So obviously with the paratroopers, the reason they were issued this was they were flying from England to France and they had to go over the English Channel. And that was the primary reason that the guys had those, so that the idea being if the plane went down, you had something to keep you afloat. But personally, I think it would have been a bit challenging seeing that most of those guys jumped with at least 100 pounds of equipment. And I don't know if this would keep 200 to 250 pounds afloat, but hey, that's just me. You can always drop the equipment. So That's a quick overview of the odds and ends.